What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, man, and let's do it, man. This is the truth behind the beef between Vince McMahon and Bret Hart. Now, Bret Hart, when he was in the Hart Foundation with Jim, the Anvil, Neidhart, they were one of the most explosive tag teams there were. Bret Hart did all the acrobatic stuff, and so did Neidhart, who were actually brother-in-law. So that worked out. The Neidhart was married to, I believe, Bret Hart's sister, and they were all family. So they came in as a wrestling team. The Hart Foundation with the pink and black had Jimmy Hart as their manager, and everything was going great for them as a tag team. And slowly, they began to win over Vince McMahon completely, especially Bret Hart. And when they came out with main events, the Saturday night's main event, they wanted to feature talented wrestlers like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and the Macho Man Randy Savage. When Macho Man came over from the Midwest Wrestling Alliance, when he took over there, him and his brother, when they brought him over, it changed the game. But Bret Hart was just as equally great as far as ring generalship, if not better, Randy Macho Man Savage. And they had a bout where he fought. They were kind of contemplating splitting up the tag team with Bret Hart and Neidhart. And they put him in a match for the heavyweight championship against Randy Macho Man Savage. Bret Hart did. That's when they injured Macho Man's leg. And Bret Hart was the bad guy. But he had so many moves. It really was on display on the big stage right then and there. And not since he fought Ricky the Dragon Steamboat did you see Randy Macho Man Savage in a bout like that. It changed the scale. It changed the scope of the entire spectrum. So all of this takes place and everything's going great. The years are going by. Bret Hart now is a single wrestler with an identity. That bout got him known as an individual wrestler because he did such a great job wrestling against Savage that they were able to make him a superstar, put him on the platform to be one. His wrestling was top notch, second to none. The excellence of execution. So his ring generalship, his play to the crowd, everything. And they wanted to work on getting him more lines, or a tagline to say. Then pretty soon you got the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. So he wanted to get his shot at the heavyweight championship again. And this is when Hulk Hogan was gone to make movies. Hogan left, and Ric Flair came into the picture. So when Hogan got stripped, they said it was because of something, but he went to go make a couple of movies like Suburban Commando and all that stuff. So while he was wasting his time doing that, Ric Flair was basically taking over. And Ric Flair came in and put some great matches on. And once he won the Royal Rumble to get the belt, he lost it to Randy Macho Man Savage in WrestleMania. After, I think about a while, Randy Savage had the belt. Then Ric Flair won it back. Then when Ric Flair won the title back, Bret Hart beat him and was finally got his shot as WWF, it was WWF at that time, but WWE World Champion. Now, WrestleMania comes around. Hulk Hogan comes back. After 2 years making movies, doing whatever, Hulk Hogan's coming back in WrestleMania. Now, him and Brutus the Barber Beefcake were a tag team. Hogan was not fighting for the title. They was in a tag team bout. And I'll never forget this. They were in a tag team match. They won their match against whoever. Bret Hart was fighting Yokozuna. Yokozuna beats Bret Hart for the world title. And as they're beating, they won. They're beating on Bret Hart, beating him up. And Hulk Hogan comes to his aid. Hulk Hogan's taking him out of the ring. And Mr. Fuji lays the belt out. Yokozuna laid the belt out. And they, Hulk Hogan, we're challenging you right now. Fight Yokozuna for the heavyweight title. And Bret Hart pushing him like, you go, Hulk, you fight for the title. Bret Hart was pissed because he was put in a position to do that for the company. He was mad because he did not wanted to lose to Yokozuna, but he did not want to give up his belt that way. Hogan goes in, beats Yokozuna, becomes the heavyweight champion. Just like that. Shocked everybody. Because Hulk Hogan wasn't even supposed to be on the... he wasn't supposed to fight for the title. And it just threw everybody off. They're like, this is not going to stand. The commission is going to reverse this. So, they just had Hulk Hogan come back for that one little moment in time. Then he was going to go back into retirement or whatever. So Hogan came back and he ended up losing the belt back to Yokozuna doing some event later on. It's about like 2 months later. It's some wrestling event. It was some cheesy thing where they snapped the camera and the guy and Hulk Hogan's face. It was so ridiculous. A guy got on the ropes and flashed the camera in Hulk Hogan's face and took a picture of him. Hulk Hogan was blinded. And then he got pinned for the 3 count. It was the worst, probably the worst looking match I've ever seen. But anyway, Yokozuna got the belt back. Bret Hart was upset because he did not get a shot at the title against Hulk Hogan to beat Hulk Hogan, but they had Yokozuna beat Hulk Hogan. And they were like, no, we got that out of the way. We got Hogan out of the way. Now you get to beat Yokozuna for the title. So Bret Hart gets the belt back, so he's not complaining. He's going to get his belt back. Bret Hart holds the belt for almost a year. Then he loses it to Bob Backlund in some submission match. And it was ridiculously set up. I don't even know how that even happened. But Bret Hart sits up there, wins the match. Then Big Daddy Cool beats Bob Backlund. And Bret Hart is back to get the title again against Diesel. He wins it. Bret Hart was the 3-time heavyweight champion, the most since Hulk Hogan. Bret Hart is doing all he can to hold the thing down. And during this time, a lot of the big name stars are starting to migrate now. They're getting ready to start migrating over to WCW. And then you have Bret Hart again against Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels beat him. Shawn Michaels was starting to blossom at this time. He took the hard matches. He was putting on the best matches. Because the thing about Shawn Michaels is it wasn't just the great moves that he could do in the ring. It was how he sold the moves against him. Like, Shawn Michaels could take a beating, and you're like, wow, he's taking a beating. He could really sell it in the ring. And he sold that better than Bret Hart. And Bret Hart lost to Shawn Michaels, and he didn't want to lose his title then either to Shawn Michaels. And it was like one of those Iron Man matches, and it goes 60 minutes, and Shawn Michaels won. So Sid Vicious beat him. He got the belt back. So Shawn Michaels is the man. Shawn Michaels is ruling for WWE. Now, the WWE money is down. Everything's low. A lot of people are leaving. Like Hogan and all of them, they're going over to WCW. And they're over there with Eric Bischoff. Everybody's leaving. So Shawn Michaels became the face of the company. And Bret Hart is like, well, what about me? You know, I'm still here. So Bret Hart is there, and he beats Shawn Michaels for the title. Well, he didn't beat Shawn Michaels for the title. Shawn Michaels injured his knee, and that ended basically his reign. And after this, you know, his knee was messed up. He had to get his knee scoped. Bret Hart won a tournament, and they gave it back to Bret. So this was going on again. Sid Vicious got it for a couple of days after beating Bret Hart. Then the Undertaker came and got it here in Chicago at WrestleMania 13. Then, to top everything off, this is what started it. And it went crazy. Bret Hart got the belt back from the Undertaker. Shawn Michaels was the guest referee. Then it comes to Montreal during the Survivor Series. Bret Hart was told he was going to be the champion for at least a year. And he was already saying, like, I need to be the champion for at least a year. I want to have that record. You know, I want to make sure I get at least a year of being the champion. And they were like, no, we don't want to do that anymore. Not since Hogan. You know, Diesel had it for a very long time because he was popular at the time. Then he's gone over to WCW. And everybody was getting pressured to go to WCW. So people was looking like, I got offers. I got a way to go. So Bret Hart was like, look, I stayed loyal to you, and this is what I want. I want to be the heavyweight champion for over a year. So Vince initially supposedly agreed to this. Then comes to him and says that Shawn Michaels is going to win the title at Survivor Series. And that did it. Bret Hart screwed the pooch on this one. He was so furious with Vince. He didn't care about the contract no more. He didn't care about anything. Once this match started, he went and argued. Vince didn't even want to hear it no more. Vince is like, why every time I tell you, you're the only one I'm telling you getting paid hand over fist. What are you complaining about? He did not want to lose the title to Shawn Michaels again. He had just got it back. And like, I just got it back. And 2 months later, you're ready to take it back from me and give it right back to Shawn Michaels. And he's like, look, Shawn Michaels wasn't the champion no more because of a knee injury. He's back. Let's let Shawn Michaels get the belt back. Like, you weren't supposed to have it this many times. Like, Shawn Michaels is the draw. He was ticked because Shawn Michaels had substance abuse problems right along with the knee injury. But it was more his substance abuse problems to where he had to go to rehab. And it's like, why? And Bret Hart is like, why are you giving this guy the title back? And Vince is simple. Shawn Michaels brings money in. Bret Hart was the old veteran that he was great, but people was tired of him. Fans had grown tired of him. And now they're gravitating to the new, young, exciting, the Generation X. And it was the Shawn Michaels era. Bret wasn't ready for this transition. He got so upset that he broke the wrestling code. He wouldn't go down. Wouldn't take his calls to go down. And that's like taboo in wrestling. You never lose your discipline to that degree. You just slapped and spit in the face and spat in the face of every wrestler that been in that ring. When you do it like that and just totally disregard the calls, you can get blacklisted for wrestling for that. He would not go down on cue. He would not go down on calls. And they had a submission put on by Shawn Michaels. Because Shawn Michaels didn't understand what was going on. And when he put the submission on, Vince came out of the booth all the way down to say, ring the bell. And he's like, I didn't quit though. I said you quit. And that was it. And then he spit on Vince McMahon's face. And that was it. For a very long time. But Bret Hart screwed the pooch. He was kicked out of WWE, WWF, never to return. He had to get off the premises that day and was not allowed back. So I found it to be quite interesting. But that was the main thing. After that, Bret Hart came back. He apologized for everything many years down the road. And him and Vince had that epic fight where Vince jumped him for everything he's done. But he came back and apologized. He realized the thing that bothered him most is that he lost his discipline as a wrestler. That's a hard blow. He went on to have some success in WCW, but his wrestling career was cut short once he took a kick to the head by Goldberg by accident, and he took it like personally with Goldberg. But that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that later. But that's the truth behind that. It's your boy Carcino. I'm out.